last year in 2021, youth unemployment in Macedonia was 28.3%. Besides this, many young people work illegally, have fixed-term contracts, receive a lower salary than others, and work in more precarious positions, which shows us also different side of the bad economic situation. So I can say that higher salaries and better employment possibilities are often among the answers of young people when asked why they are leaving and why they would leave the country. Something that is worth mentioning here is also the non-compliance in the labor market, which means the kind of stuff that is produced and what is demanded on the labor market is not balanced. In a bit older publication from the International Labour Organization, the data show that the average of 31 months or even more is passing from graduation to first job for young people. And it's even higher for youth with no tertiary degree. I would not discuss much the economic motives because I know that those are very obvious on one hand, and then I know that the previous forum was specifically on this, so you touched upon it back then. And in the interest of the time and not to be repetitive, I'll just move on to other reasons. So that being said, I would mention that the second reason why young people are leaving the region is, and especially North Macedonia, is the low quality of education. And this has been pointed out in all the researches so far, and I can say that it's not a simple problem. Here I can mention why low quality of education, because we have an aging infrastructure, outdated materials and equipment, teachers and professors are underpaid, employment in schools is on basis of political affiliation, many diplomas can be bought. The public education system doesn't stimulate critical thinking, and I can say as a person involved in the NGO sector for many years, what is devastating is that the soft skills can be acquired through formal education. I can say that Macedonian education in all phases almost continuously has been a subject to reforms since the country's independence until today. So in these 30 years, there is devastating fact that in the 30 years since independence, we have had 19 ministers for education and science. So this is really frightening. The average time that a minister remains in the office is about a year and a half, which is of course not enough for a meaningful and quality reform and change. Adding to this, I can say that the allocations for education and training from the budget of the Republic of North Macedonia are quite low. And they're around like 3 or 3.3% of the GDP. This is data from 2020. And it's also worrying that the results of international student tests are very bad. We are always ranked among the last countries on the list. So I can say that the shortcomings in the education system, of course, result in lower employability of young people who face problems in entering the labor market. Thus, often the response of young people to the dysfunction of education and the labor market is that they are emigrating, they're leaving the country. Although I can say that worth mentioning here is one good practice for solving this problem, and that is the dual education model that started recently in North Macedonia. Through dual education, according to the German model that has been modified, young people during their education acquire knowledge and skills needed in the labor market, and companies, on the other hand, get ready professional staff who will be able to respond later on to the work tasks. But however, this is still in a pilot version. It's not available in all the cities. It's not available to all the students, and it started in September 2018. So the first results would be seen this year when the first generation will finish. I saw in the videos in the beginning before we started that youth guarantee was mentioned, so that's another, but maybe later on we can discuss this. So I'll just move on to the third reason. why young people are leaving the country. And I would say that that's because the young people are not satisfied with their position in the society. And this has also been shown through the many researches that has been done. And I will mention here some of the findings from the research done by the Westminster Foundation for Democracy and the Youth Educational Forum. There are two, one done in 2019 and one in 2021. It's about socio-political participation of youth in North Macedonia. So this research shows, the last one in 2021 showed that 58% of young people would move out of Republic of North Macedonia if given the opportunity, and only 6.9 would return back. So basically every second person or even more would leave the country. Vashkim shared in the beginning that in the region this percentage is 61, so it's the same, I would say, in all the countries. It's here around 60%, which is really a lot. Further on, to share some data from this research is that 80% of young people said that the authorities do not care about them at all, or just partially care about their needs and problems. Later on, this was again proven that many people, in fact 68% of young people, expressed that the authorities are not even familiar with their problems. So that leads with dissatisfaction of young people. Then young people are not consulted. These also are results from the survey that high 85% of young people have never been consulted, neither on local, neither on central level. And it's actually even worse for people with disability. It says that 9 out of 10 people have never been included or consulted by institutions in decision-making processes. Of course, this leads of young people being skeptical and thinking that they cannot impact the way how authorities work. It's 6 out of 10 people that believe in this. And again, the situation is much worse for young people with disability. These researchers are also showing that many young people are inactive. So the last research showed that 71% of young people who participated in this survey described themselves as socially inactive citizens, so not engaged in any way. So I would pose here a rhetorical question: is the government doing something to encourage youth participation? I would say not much, and certainly not enough. Experiences from the past show that after some time, governments often lose the momentum to tackle youth issues or simply forget about them. The recent research, and I believe this maybe would be the last one that I will mention, was done by the National Youth Council of Macedonia about the implementation on the law on youth participation